With the release of Nodcry, we've seen two new team archetypes emerge, each introducing a top-tier DPS. Flynn's for Lunar Charged, and Nefer for Lunar Bloom. One major weakness both teams shared, however, was the lack of a reliable off-field hydro applicator. Hoyoverse didn't just fill that gap, they went a step further by introducing an exceptional off-field hydro character who elevates both lunar DPS units to the point where they can legitimately challenge Mavuika for the top DPS spot. They gave us Columbina. Columbina comes to us as a Hydro Catalyst user, with an emphasis on her HP, energy regeneration, and elemental mastery. But before we can continue with the key stat goals, let's go over her kit and playstyle. Columbina excels at boosting all kinds of lunar reactionary damage, making the previously mentioned lunar DPS characters giga busted. Columbina achieves this through her skill and burst, with the skill applying off-field hydro support. Upon activation, Columbina will deploy a field that allows gravity ripples to hit nearby enemies and follow the active party member. Not only does this ability boost the frequency of lunar reaction damage being, but keep in mind as well when it comes to the skill activation, because of her talent, Columbina will be able to cause electrocharged, bloom, and hydrocrystallized reactions to be converted into each respective lunar reaction. While you still won't get the same amount of damage of a typical Nodcry DPS, Columbina still allows you to experience the lunar reaction meta. For her burst, Columbina will summon forth her domain expansion, causing the territory nearby to transform. While within this domain zone, all lunar reaction damage will be increased by 40%. So ideally, regardless of the lunar reaction team composition you are playing, you want to activate her skill first, then swap to whichever character to trigger the reaction, either Lauma, Inef, or Iluga. Then, before swapping to your lunar DPS character, switch back to Columbina, activate her burst, then swap to the DPS character so they receive the 40% lunar reaction damage buff to achieve max damage possible. So in terms of talent priority, it is important to maximize this burst more so than the skill, as you will only receive the damage boost via the burst, while the skill provides the off-field hydro application while also dealing some damage. Moving to weapons, this is highly discussed spot, as she has a few decent options depending on how you want to play. If you want to run Columbina in a generic lunar reaction team with the appropriate supports, then her signature is going to be her absolute best. While it provides a sizable amount of crit damage, the two biggest things it provides is HP percent increase and damage increase. Upon a lunar reaction, the character equipped with this weapon will recover energy, and any crit damage performed from lunar reactions from the on-field character will be increased by a minimum of 60%. While Columbina doesn't get any real great value from any other 5-star options other than stat sticks, she has a few great 4-star options. Firstly, for those players who don't have a C1 Lauma, Prototype Amber will not only increase Columbina's HP, but will provide healing every 2 seconds for 5 seconds after using her burst. Sacrificial Jade boosts her crit damage by a bit, but when the wielder of this weapon isn't on field for more than 5 seconds, your max HP will increase by a minimum of 32% and elemental mastery by 40%. And finally, we have the good old reliable Favonius weapons with the Codex. For relics, we really have two options, both serving a common goal, but giving Columbina separate roles. Her signature set will not only provide elemental mastery, but if the equipped character is off-field, lunar reaction damage will be increased by 20%. And if your moon sign level is Ascendant Gleam, this boost jumps up to 40%. This set works best with the premium lunar reaction team, as being able to get a consistent 40% damage boost to lunar reactions makes this team's top tier. The other set Columbina could run is the Silken Moon Serenade set. Will boost your own energy regeneration, allowing for more frequent uses of her burst. while also increasing all party members' elemental mastery depending on the move sign level, and increase all parties' lunar reaction damage by 10%. This set is better suited for a Columbina that is the only Nodcry character on the team, or if you are running her along with Nefer and Lauma in a Lunar Bloom team, as she provides Nefer with more elemental mastery. Now, having gone over which weapons and relics to use, what are the stats you want to be targeting to get the most out of your Columbina? The first stat to focus on is her HP, as all of her main abilities scale off her HP and providing more damage for each hit by Gravity Ripple, and provides a damage boost to Lunar Reaction damage based on how high her HP is. The target goal should be around 35k HP, as this provides the max damage boost from her talent, while also being a general good stopping point. The other main stat you want to focus on is her energy regeneration, as you want to get to at least north of 170%, as her burst provides the greatest ease of use of damage boost for your lunar reactions, so having it available more often provides your team the highest damage boost. And finally, for crit rate and crit damage, shoot for a general 1-2 split, as she isn't designed to be a main DPS character, but would be interesting to see what some people are going to be capable. Now for the longest and most controversial part of the video, team options. Now before I really dive into the teams, yes, broadly speaking, Columbina provides lunar reaction teams and even makes teams such as Flynn's, Nefer, Zebai compete for the top crown. But she is more beneficial for two of these teams and not so much for the other. Starting with Lunar Charge. With the introduction, Columbina takes the spot for your Hydro Applicator and not only allows that character to be placed on another team, but provides that sweet Lunar Charge damage boost. Take a Flynn's that was dealing, let's say, 110k damage with support from Inefa, Sucrose, and Ino. Take Ino out, and now with Columbina, that team goes from dealing 110k to now dishing out 154k damage. No relics or weapons included, just a flat 40% increase from having her burst active. Moving towards Zebai, granted, at the time of this recording, she isn't released just yet, but without Columbina, Zebai would fall into a similar DPS output like Flynn's, granted you have a C6 Luga. But Columbina provides a very similar damage increase for Zebai as she does for Flynn's. Now, for the most controversial lunar team, and that comes with Lunar Bloom and Nefer. While Columbina does indeed provide a massive increase in damage, the issue actually comes with Lauma and Columbina that I don't see content creators really talking about. Let's first talk about Lauma, who is so good for Lunar Bloom teams. Through her burst, Lauma provides 18 stacks of Pale Hymn, and each stack consumed by a Lunar Bloom reaction boosts Lunar Bloom damage, and these stacks are consumed individually by each hit performed. So let's say Nefer is going up against 5 enemies and deals 5 total hits of damage. That is going to be 10 stacks of Pale Hymn that are consumed. The problem here is that Columbina's Gravity Ripples deal an instance of damage to enemies dealing Lunar Bloom damage, consuming stacks of Pale Hymn, and thus that damage bonus that you would ideally want Nefer to have would be consumed by Columbina and Nefer instead of just Nefer. So while Columbina does provide damage boost for Nefer in instances of AoE or multiple enemy scenarios, Nefer will fall off compared to either Flynn's or Zebai. To wrap things up, Columbina isn't just a missing puzzle piece of Nodcry teams. She's a meta-defining support who fundamentally reshapes how lunar reactions are played, by finally giving Lunar Charged and Lunar Bloom teams a premier off-field Hydro Applicator and layering on massive reaction damage bonuses. Hoyoverse turned already strong DPS units like Flynn's and Nefer into legitimate contenders for the very top of the damage hierarchy. Her kit is straightforward but incredibly potent. Consistent off-field Hydro application, conversions into lunar reactions for non-Nodcry teams, and a burst that provides an unconditional 40% lunar reaction damage boost that every lunar DPS dreams of. That said, Columbina isn't a one-size-fits-all upgrade. She shines brightest in Lunar Charge compositions where Flynn's and likely Zebai for Lunar Crystallize benefit enormously with virtually no downside, pushing their damage ceilings far beyond what was previously possible. In Lunar Blue teams, while she still offers undeniable value, her interaction with Lamla's Pale Hymn stacks introduces an important trade-off, especially in multi-target scenarios where Nefer's damage can be unintentionally diluted. Ultimately, Columbina is a premium support whose value scales directly with your team's ability to capitalize on lunar reactions. If you're investing into Nocrai DPS characters, she's not just a luxury, she's a cornerstone. Just be mindful of team synergies and reaction mechanics, because when used correctly, Columbina doesn't just support your DPS, she elevates them into a completely different tier.